like this. We're going to start lying on our backs. Get your props nearby so you can just grab them. So tonight I've got bolster, just a firm pillow would do. I've got my yoga strap, a scarf would do, or you could even use a towel over your feet. I've got a couple of blankets as well. So grab all your bits and pieces, have them close by, and then we're just going to lie down, and I'm going to help you to rinse off the day. I'm doing some trauma-informed or trauma awareness coaching at the moment, and it's quite interesting to talk about not just specific traumas, but just the day-to-day life and what these kind of layers of micro traumas are doing to our central nervous systems, and to the levels of anxiety and insomnia and overwhelm, etc. And of course, for us midlife ladies, all of that mucks up our hormone production. So what we want to be doing is getting out of our heads and into our bodies. And because we are animals, we are literally mammals, I thought we might go through the end part of a stress response that a mammal might have. So if we just come onto our backs for a moment, before we do that, I'm going to get you just to warm up your spines, because especially if you've been sitting a lot of today, nice just to get a bit of movement through the lower back in particular. So bend your knees, feet down, see how your shoulders are, maybe draw them down a bit. Give the jaw a little wriggle, because we always have that stress in the jaw, don't we? So just go, wriggle the jaw, bit of noise out. And then pushing the floor away, just floating up and down through the spine, massaging that lumbar spine in particular. Drawing yourself up and down, up and down. And then a little bit closer towards the shoulders, pausing, and then down. I'm just getting you to switch on your gluteal muscles now. Bit of core stability holding you up here. Good, and then all the way down. Now pause. Do a couple of the exhale zipping up actions just to switch on your pelvic floor and your deep core muscles, releasing down, breathing out, and then in. Good, and then I'm going to get you to draw up your right knee for a moment and stretch out the left leg. Give it a little bit of a shake, a bit of a stretch. Maybe take the arm overhead as well. Oh, big yawny, lazy stretch, and then knees up to the chest, just rock over the lower back. So if you were a zebra on the savannah and you were just lazily eating your lunch, munching away at the grass, and then suddenly a tiger, a lion, springs out and starts to run towards you. Of course, you've got to run, yeah. And so I'm going to get us to go into, obviously we're not zebra trotting, we are people running. So you need to engage your core muscles, and this can be as little or as big as you want. Breathe out and breathe out and breathe out. And just imagine that you are sprinting. So squeeze your muscles, and you might want to make this quite fast. So imagine you are sprinting away from danger. Breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out as you sprint and move, and just get some blood pumping around your body. And well done us, we have outrun the lion. So take your legs and your arms up towards the ceiling. Just press your lower back into the ground. Take some breaths here. Now, once the zebra has got to safety, once it's outrun the lion, or the lion has gone and eaten its mate instead, and the zebra is safe, for today. It shakes. So I'm just going to get you to shake your feet and shake your hands. You might need to have loose fists so that your wrists can shake. Try and get the jiggles going. So try and shake down into your thighs and into your upper arms. Shoulders heavy on the ground. And I'm going to get you to activate that vagal nerve toning long exhalation with a bit of sound. So just a bit of like this. Wriggling your jaw. Breathe in deeply. Long sigh out with a bit of noise. Now, I don't know the science behind this at all. I do know they use vibration therapy, but this just feels nice. If you just drop your feet now, maybe feet together and knees out, hands on your belly, and close the eyes. This isn't comfortable on your hip flexors, just let your legs drop further out, like so. Just close the eyes. And feel the rise and the fall of your belly. Feel the movement, the prana, the life force, the blood flow just tingling around the body. And take your attention into your feet and see if you can really notice the sensation of tingling in your feet, the soles of your feet, through the ankles, the shins and the calves and the knees, and then up through your thighs, and swirl your focus around your pelvic area and your belly, and then up underneath the hands to your ribs, feeling the ribs moving with each breath. And then take your mind's eye up through the shoulders and down through the arms and into your hands, and just feel the palms of your hands resting on your belly. And then draw your attention up through your neck and into your head. Maybe rock the head from side to side gently and really feel the back of your head onto the mat. Slowing your breathing down very consciously, so the inhalation is smooth, soft, and the exhalation is full, complete. Just saying to yourself, I am safe. I am safe. I am safe. And really feel your body right now. Feel into your body. Feel the ground underneath your body. Feel how physically here you are in this moment in time. Yeah, and then just slide your feet up. Keep your feet nice and wide on your mat. So we're going to take the arms onto the opposite side of the knees. So knees drop over to one side. So nice wide knees. So the top knee presses down a little bit. Arms to the other side. And then flowing like seaweed in the ocean bed, up and over. Get a nice twist through the spine. Breathing in and then breathing out. Maybe closing the mouth very softly. So as you breathe out through your nostrils, you are creating that ocean-like sound, the Ujjayi breath. Imagine the seaweed just flowing in that ocean swirl, the currents. And you might want to pause for a moment and just stretch a bit more on one side, and maybe even take the arms up and overhead to come over to the other side. Quite sort of morning stretch like movement. And one more time, knees up nice and wide. Grab hold of your shins and massage those feet around. So in an ideal world, we would be massaging our ankles around at least 10 times in both directions, in each direction, every day. As we know that once we start to have reduced ovarian estrogen, our joints seize up. The muscle fibers kind of lose their elasticity, and it's so much easier to sprain your ankle or sprain your wrist if you fall, just not falling well. So we just need to make sure that we keep everything as mobile as possible. Good. Now, just start to push your feet up towards the ceiling again, bend the knees, and then press the heels away a couple of times. Let's see how those hamstrings are feeling, how the lower back is feeling. Now, quite often when we have tight hamstrings, tight calves, it pulls the pelvis under, and we get this aching lower back area and this very constricted sacrum. So try to keep your pelvis pressing into the ground. So imagine your tail is literally going down through a hole in the ground, and then start to push the heels away. Bend and then push the heels away. Push those heels away. Good. Now turn the toes out slowly and the heels towards each other. So you get that nervy extension through the IT band here down the side of your legs. Give them a nice warming rub. Whew. And then slowly turn the toes back towards your eyes, pressing the back of the pelvis into the ground. Rub the back of your legs. That's it. And then just drifting those feet apart until you feel the inner thighs stretch. And then with your hands just on the inside of your knees, gently press your knees back in again so you can feel your inner thighs activated. And then release the feet a little bit wider. And then press the legs in, resist with your hands. And then see if you can drop. I'm going to turn around here. Drop your feet a little bit wider. Again, pressing inwards with the knees, not too hard. And then, see if that goes a little bit wider. Rub the inner thighs here. Keep pressing out through the heels. Toes are active. Soles of the feet getting a nice stretch. Good. And then just drawing those legs together. Circle your knees around so you can massage the back of the pelvis. One direction and the other direction. And then I'm going to get you to take a prop, a bolster or a pillow, just to lift your pelvis up. And if you've got a strap, use that. So taking your pelvis onto your prop, have a little jiggle here so that you can massage your lower back. Because when we're in this position, now the psoas muscles can release. And again, if you've got lower back irritability, this is a great pose to practice often. Just allows that psoas area to release. So let's go ahead again, bring that right knee up and then start to stretch the left leg away so we can feel a bit more into these hip flexors. Some nice sighing breaths out. Use the conscious relaxation response of when you consciously relax your face and you create that long exhalation and you sigh, or buzzy bee breath, the Brahmahari breath, or the extended ha. Consciously keep going back to relaxing the muscles around your face. And you'll notice that you are able to unwind tension in the rest of your body so much more easily. Whereas if you're just kind of pushing into a stretch without incorporating the face and without incorporating that long exhalation, it's a lot harder. And the body tends to hold on and not just kind of allow the stretch to happen. And for this, we want to be floppy. So we want to be very ragdoll-like. Bring both knees up. Gentle pressure out on the inside of the knees. Let's just go ahead and swirl those feet again. That's it. One direction, the other direction. And pull the toes apart, like stretch the soles of your feet by pulling those toes, spreading them. Good. Now let's try pushing inwards with the knees into the hands again, resisting, getting that little bit of a squeeze through the inner thighs, and then releasing. Oh, a little bit further. Okay, so taking that left knee up towards the armpit now, and let's take the right foot down. Noticing if both sides of the pelvis feel even, or if one side is feeling a bit more grippy and grotty. You might even notice a corresponding tension in the opposite shoulder. So notice these things. It's nice to slow practices down because we have time for that swadhyaya, that observation of the body without the story. So I always have to caveat that. We never want to be going, oh my God, that pain means this and this and da-da-da, and then suddenly you're back into the birth thing and then da-da-da, and that awful doctor. You don't want to do that. You just, almost like you're standing outside of yourself with a clipboard and you're just going, interesting, my right hip feels tighter than my left hip. Okay. And yes, actually, when I stretch this side, I can feel my jaw tightening up. Or whatever, you just make observations, swadhyaya. Because once we get into that habit of not being attached to what is happening into this physical expression of us, this physical body, we can so much more easily accept what is going on, and have that level of santosha, it's called, acceptance. And once we get to that point of, it is what it is, it is what it is. I've got a jammed up hip, or I've got a shoulder that is frozen right now, or whatever it is. It is what it is. I've had trauma in the past. But it's not who you are. It is what it is right in this moment in time, and everything is changeable. That acceptance is the key ingredient to change occurring. So let's see what we can do about these hamstrings. Pelvis is up, feet are supported by a strap or a scarf or something over the ball of the foot, so not the arch of the foot. And then again, press the back of your pelvis down into your prop so you can feel the insertion point here of your hamstrings coming into your bum. And a little bit of extra pressure through the upper back, where we have these oxytocin receptors. So just enjoy that little bit of pressure there. Notice how you can extend that lovely long exhalation when we're in slight inversion. See if you can make each sigh a little bit longer than the last one. So let's slide those legs apart, maybe a little bit further if you can with the strap. And have a little play here. So you might draw the feet a little bit closer towards your face, and then drop it back again, legs back, and then maybe a little bit closer, stretching into the upper thighs, a little bit into the back. Almost rocking with this gentle movement. And of course, these slight inversions mean that exhalation just keeps getting longer. And the pause at the end of the exhalation keeps getting longer. I'm going to drop down now into a baby pose. So knees are dropping down towards armpits, just adjusting where your hands are on the strap. And then rocking the back of the pelvis into your prop. Noticing how relaxed you can make the area around your anus. So quite often, especially if we're sitting a lot, around the sacrum, around the tailbone gets jammed. Pelvic floor muscles get stuck. So let your belly be nice and relaxed. Let your knees be soft. Like a bit of noise here, buzzy bee or ha. Wonderful. So we know that we have got the power to override that fight and flight state, that constant being switched on and constant overwhelm and constant reactivity by being in the body and extending the exhalation and calming the muscles of the face and activating the oxytocin, these gentle inversions. So this is a sort of plow pose, sort of, just kind of a little bit more than Viparita Krani, a little bit more of a drawing up of the legs. Sighing the breath out. Good, and then we'll just slowly come down. I'm going to keep my feet held by the strap for a moment, coming into an inverted cobbler pose. So knees out to the side. Just let your feet and your knees hang in space with your strap around your feet. Good. I've got the most lovely smelling candle. Smells very nice. All right, so I'm feeling quite relaxed. I'm going to get you just to slide this up a little bit and then slide over onto one side so we can open up the rib cage. So we want a pillow of some description just underneath the torso. And if you need to grab one of your rolled blankets to put underneath your head, please do so. So no cricking in the neck, but we're wanting to open up the top side of the body, flare these ribs out. So once you're in a comfortable position, start to stretch fingers and toes apart. And on the exhalation, drape your body. Inhale, slight stretch, and then exhale, just drape. So you know when we sometimes do those, squeeze the fist and then let the fist go, squeeze the bicep, let the bicep go. Well, a little bit like that. So stretch and open and squeeze and breathe in, and then go, and flop. And one more. Breathe in, point your toes, stretch your fingertips, open up the armpit. Tell you what I feel like we should be doing here is taking this top arm up and back a little bit. So let's do that. So the rest of the body can just relax and we'll just mobilize this top shoulder. If your shoulder's feeling a little bit constricted, be a bit more small with your movement. So bend the elbow, but lift and roll the shoulder. If it's feeling a little bit more free, then paint with your fingertips. Paint and flow with your fingertips. So just kind of move in circles or back and forward, up, whatever feels nice to get these pectoral muscles to get a bit of blood flow through them. Oh. That's it, just kind of freeing up that shoulder a little bit. And then come over to the other side, but via the chest opening flare. You might need to put something underneath your head if this feels too much. If your bolster is relatively firm like mine is, then this can be quite a big supported bridge. So I just want you to prop the head, prop your bum if need be. We won't stay here long. But the idea is to really get these intercostal muscles to stretch so we can improve our breathing, unstick the diaphragm if it's just a bit stuck, and of course get this area to stretch as well. If you're very comfortable here, then do the psoas muscles as well. So feet together, knees out, so the hip flexors also get the stretch. And give yourself a squeezy stretch and then go. Do that again. Breathe in, squeeze, stretch. Sigh it out. And then slide yourself to the other side. Make sure you're comfortable. It is a stretch, but you don't want anything to be painful. Lengthening the fingers and toes away from each other. Top legs stretching, top arms stretching. Breathe in to stretch and then flop. And then again, squeeze, stretch, lengthen, and flop. One more. Squeeze, stretch, open, lengthen, flop. And take this top arm. And it might be that you start very small and then feel where your shoulder needs to go, feel where your elbow needs to go, and move slowly, especially if the shoulder girdle and the neck area is feeling stiff. Move very gently, slowly, respectfully, and keep breathing. The more you breathe, the deeper you breathe, the more oxygen you are sending around the body. The more you breathe into extension and then breathe out into this close, the more you're going to find everything starts to unstick. So painting the space around you with your fingertips, flowing the arms around. Well done. And then slowly coming onto tummies. We're going to use the prop, but just warm up the back first. So keep your prop close by. Oh, how is the lower back? Take toes in and heels out, and just rock your pelvis from side to side so you can shake out any gripping around the lower back and into the sacrum. Nice to relax your forehead onto your hands and let your tummy be really relaxed. So massage your tummy from side to side, great for the intestines. Rock, 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 rock. If you've got big boobs, this can be uncomfortable. So I know that. You might need to get your blanket and just prop it underneath you as high as you need to go in order to have a bit more space for your boobs. Okay, so work with what's comfortable. Since I don't have any boobs, I don't think of this for other people, but this can be a bit more comfortable here. The bit of extra height. And then I'm going to get you to open the soles a bit more. So take your nicely lubricated shoulder, your right shoulder, lift and drape it down, lift it and drape it, and grab hold of ankle. If you've got your strap close by, and if ankle feels too far away, just loop your strap around your ankle like so. Try not to grab your toes if you can. And then long exhalation, a little bit of sound with the exhalation. Press the pelvis down. Open up the whole of the groin. So you're kind of pressing the bikini line down into the ground. See if you can do some buzzy bee breaths here. So that Brahmahari breath, which is the humming
extended hum outwards on that exhalation. And as you make the noise, go into the stretch. And then just take your foot slightly from side to side as you make the noise. So you can feel that lovely stretch going right across your thigh. This is great. If you've got lower back pain, do this. Good, and then let's drop that side. Give it a tap on your foot. And then swapping sides. Let's see how that left shoulder feels. Sliding back, grabbing hold of left ankle. Opening up the front of the left side of the pelvis. So just kind of grinding your pelvis downwards. And then using that Brahmahari breath as well. So when we do that buzzy bee breath, the Brahmahari breath, as you create the let it buzz around your head, and then imagine like all the bees are in your head, then you're pushing the vibrations down through your body. You're imagining the vibrations are just pouring down through. So all the cells, all the water in the body and the cells of the body, it's kind of getting this vibration with the sound. Good, and then dropping that foot, give it a tap. And just move that out of the way. Hands close into your shoulders, elbows right in towards your sides here. Tops of the feet pressing into the mat. Chin is tucking in. And you're just breathing to draw yourself up off the mat a little bit. So activating back line of the body and then down. Breathing and then down. So just like when we're doing our inner thighs, we were sort of squeezing them and then releasing them. Same idea. You'll get more of a release after doing a little bit of contraction. So coming up into Sphinx, so forearms on your mat, pulling your chest forward and coming into a bit more of a slope, a ski slope through your back. If you're here, absolutely fine. So don't push yourself up. It should feel comfortable, not crunching on your lower back. And wherever you are, just looking over one shoulder, checking your foot is still there. Yes. Inhaling to the center and exhaling to the other side. Noticing how your neck feels. Being gentle. Breathing out, sigh. Good. I'm going to get you to bring your prop closer and see if you can just shove it underneath your ribs so that you're propped up. If it's too high, try this with a rolled blanket instead. So this is ideal. If you've got the kids on the iPad or whatever, see if you can get them doing this, like when we were younger and we used to read our books in this position. Because of course, everyone's sloping in chairs, all hunched forward. So if we can do a little bit of this, even if they're doing something like being on phones or iPads, coming into extension through the back muscles and just opening up the chest a little bit and keep the chin drawn back so we can stretch the front of the neck and get that slightly lengthened feeling through the back of the neck as well. Now remember the lower lobes of the back of the lungs are where we have most of our lung capacity. So down here, because this is nice and open now, breathe down here. See if you can focus your breathing right down here. See if you can expand those lungs on the inhalation as much as you can. Long, slow inhalation and then release the breath. Imagine there is old air right at the bottom of the lungs, and as you breathe in, you're just trying to scrape the bottom of the lungs. Actually, I just remembered something super cool. We have endorphin receptors at the bottom of our lungs. Remember, I used to teach this to the prenatal ladies. And so taking these deep, longer, deliberate breaths down here, we are sort of scraping, activating those endorphin receptors. Endorphins are our feel-good hormones, our happy hormones. Very good. Just draw yourself back into an extended child. I'm going to keep my hands on the bolster, knees nice and wide, and stretch the armpits, stretch the underneath the arms, lengthen the spine, and in your mind's eye, just see the vertebra being drawn apart. So imagine that the space between the vertebra is opening up. And if your spine was like a pearl necklace, as we're stretching out, those pearls are just a little bit further away, so you can feel this lovely lengthening. And breathe in order to get that lovely space even more expanded. And then let's come into draped kind of puppy dog pose. So you want to come with knees wide, rest the top of your chest onto the bolster, so just on your chest as opposed to on your boobs, and then arms overhead if you can, nice wide arms, and just your tail is right up in the sky, you're draping down, and then you're just simply resting, and then go back into that focused breathing into the back of the lungs. Every time you exhale, see if your knees might just go out a tiny bit more, just a little bit more. Ah. Your lovely aromatherapy candles make me feel really sleepy tonight. Ah, it's nice to rest in some of these poses. Feeling that long breath releasing from the body. Ah, good. And then just slide your knees together, coming up. And let's take forearms onto the prop, knees together, and just drop the hips from side to side. So we're going into the outer thigh now, into this abductor area. Ooh, up and over to the other side. Again, if you're getting lower back grouchiness, it's a really good idea just to keep this pelvis area mobilized. So I'm sending my right sitting bone down towards about 5 o'clock on the clock face there. So a little bit on an angle, 45-degree angle. And then up and over to the other side, left sitting bone heading to what's that, about 7, 8 o'clock. And then you have a play with what needs to happen with your pelvis. So I'm just going to circle my pelvis now, but I want you to be really, again, it's that sweat higher. If as you come forward, you're like, whoa, hip flexor, oh my goodness, and you need to hang out here a little bit, then do that. Just massage up and down here. If you're here and you're like, oh, actually, I need to sort of do a little bit of kind of upward dog, then do that. If being back here is what's needed, then just horseshoe your pelvis from side to side. So just spend this next minute or so exploring this sort of circular movement, or might even just be back and forward, but opening up the pelvic area, either on forearms, or if you need to come up higher on your hands, then please do that. Just imagine you've got swirly music playing. You are like that seaweed in the current, just flowing into the areas that need a little bit of massage, a little bit of TLC. So maybe start to flow into kind of cat-cow movement with your pelvis, either on forearms like I'm doing here or on your hands. So kind of cat-cow, but moving as well. So you're rounding as you come forward, and then your tail goes up as you come back. So you're kind of rocking at the same time as undulating. There we go, that's a nice word, undulating with your pelvis. Breathing out and then breathing in. Don't worry too much about where you're supposed to be breathing, just breathe and move and flow and channel that inner seaweed. I'm just going to swirl the pelvis a little bit more here. And that feels what is called for. So I wanted us to come into pigeon, but I just want you to make sure that your pelvis is ready for that. Good. So before we do, so we should bolster away a little bit. I'm going to get you to take your left hand into the middle of the mat and your right hand up on the breath in, down on the breath out, up on the breath in. Again, you're channeling your inner seaweed, or you can imagine you're painting with your fingertips. And as you breathe in, we want to really get into these intercostal muscles. We want to get into the thoracic spine. So again, when we're sitting a lot, this mid-back area gets tight and stuck. And ultimately, it leads to increased risk of heart disease, because we need mobility in this area for the arteries of the heart to stay pliable. So breathe and move. It's good for your heart. It's good for your mobility. Oh, it's good for your pelvic floor, because if your diaphragm's all stuck, your pelvic floor will not be functioning well. And again, breathing in. Oh, take this hand and then thread the needle. Take it right underneath the body. Drop the back of the shoulder onto the mat. Chin is tucking in. Side of the head resting. Oh, that feels good. Left hand staying where it wants to on the mat, or maybe on the hip. Elbow up. If that wants to extend, then maybe up towards the ceiling. Just keep the chin tucked right in and not much pressure on your head at all. Yeah, let's try that on the other side. So press the floor away with that left hand. Take the right hand up again. And then right hand down on the mat. And we'll do the same thing. So painting. Inhaling to open, exhaling, flow. Inhaling to stretch. And it's like a fern. Imagine you're unfurling your arm. It's like a fern unfurling towards the sunshine. Breathing in, getting that nice twist through the spine, holding that inhalation just for an extra beat. Very good. And then taking that arm and we're just threading that needle down here. So shoulder drops towards the ground, chin right in, so you're doing an over-exaggerated tuck and resting the temple, so on the side of the head, on the mat here. And hand can be down on the hip, elbow up, or maybe even right up. Relaxed face, maybe the royal wave. Hello. Rinsing it all out. Good, and then just taking that hand down again and taking the hand back up. Oh, doesn't that feel good? And then down. So I'm going to invite you to do a little pretzel shape here. So which side's starting off? Start with your left leg out to the side. Little toe facing forward, and then slide your bum back a little bit so you can feel the inner thigh. So I'm just going to turn around here so you see it like that. So your bum goes back, inner thigh is like, ooh, yes. If that feels enough, then just focus on your inner thigh. If you quite liked that thoracic twist as well, take that left hand, slide it back underneath the right arm, and see if you can give yourself a little twist at the same time as you start to take your pelvis back. So it's a pretzel shape. You need to relax your face, relax your shoulders, dropping the pelvis back to increase the stretch right up into the groin here. Then slowly coming out of that side, we'll swap. So it starts like gate pose, little toes forward, start to send the pelvis back. Now that might be enough just there. But if it feels like you also want to roll that movement up through the spine, then reaching out, turning the head. And then if you slide your pelvis back once you're in position, you just increase that inner thigh stretch. Very good. How does that feel? Good. All righty. So have your both bolster close by. Nice wide fingers. Rotate the wrists and then place your wide frog-like hands down onto your mat. Eyes at the elbows facing each other, tucking the toes, tail up towards the ceiling. And on a long breath out, just take the knees off the ground and then start to float your tail back and up. Keep the knees bent. And we've already worked on lengthening the spine. See if you can stretch all the way back, rolling the armpits so they face the ground. So shoulders are rotating away from your ears. Feel like you're on the rack. Your tail is being lengthened, your head and your hands are stretching in the opposite direction. And then press the heels down one at a time. And I want you to really focus on a long exhalation. So you might stick your tongue out and do lion breath on the exhale. Like a ha. Deep breath in and a sigh or a lion roar out. Ha. Got the knees across the midline of the body. Get those hips really nice and juiced. Juice your hips. You have the head a shake. Cheeks nice and loose. Good. Looking up between your hands. So for pigeon, let's take the right foot. And we want to take the right foot up towards the left hand, or there and thereabouts. So we're sort of sliding it up, and then the knee drops sort of towards the right hand. Whatever's comfortable, so no pushing tonight. The back leg should be roughly in the center of your mat. And then we just want to hug the bolster. You're going to need at least one blanket. just underneath your bottom here. We just don't want anything hanging in space. So prop your bum as much as you need to. Or you might even use if you've got an extra pillow, slide your pillow here. You want to slide down into this deep pelvic opening, pigeony pose. And then if you can, have enough props that you can just lie down and go, ah. Now, for some of you, this is going to be pretty easy. For other people, their hips just simply do not do that. And if that's you, don't worry. It's just sometimes your bones won't let you do that. So instead, come into a zigzag shape like that, and then see if you can just use your prop and fold yourself forward. We do want to feel a relatively strong opening into the pelvic area. So make sure you are coming into the edge of what feels like a deep, big belly of the muscle stretch. Now, for some of you, once you come into this, it's quite nice. You just want to release down into it. I'm going to invite you to start to send lines of energy up through your back leg. So you push the top of the foot into your mat, so the knee slightly sucks up off the mat, and you feel that contraction and that lift pulling energy up into your pelvis, and you imagine it's kind of swirling around into the right hip. So it's like you're taking this line of energy up through the back leg, swirling it around, dropping it back again, swirling it around, dropping it back again, and just kind of massaging those muscle fibers into opening up a little bit more. Always nice to support the forehead, the third eye point. So see if you can have something, maybe stacked fists, something underneath that third eye point, and a little bit of pressure there. And just imagine that any overthinking, any sort of busyness in your mind, that pressure is like a point where all of that can be released. Every time you breathe out, you're cleansing your mind. Everything's just pouring out. Good. Slowly bringing yourself up. Take your back leg, swing it forward, and you've got an option here. So either your foot comes forward like that, and you give yourself a gentle twist around, or take your right hand, pick up your left foot, wrap your hand around the little toe edge, and then roll slightly forward on your pelvis. You're not dropping back like so. You're lifted. And then start to push your heel away from you and turn your head over your left shoulder. And you might even take your left hand out behind you. You're pushing out through the heel, you're stretching out through the fingertips, or a variation of that. Yeah, so just start to go to where it feels like you're going towards your edge. Crown of the head is lifted, slightly rolled forward through the pelvis. Lovely. Drop yourself down, one ankle in front of the other ankle. Allow yourself to drop forward. Head is heavy. Give it a little shake, little mini shake. Oh. Scoop up through the heart center. Leave that left leg in front. Take the right leg back. So you probably need to push your fists into the mat to lift up so you can kind of rearrange your legs. Foot over to the right side, knee sort of over to the left side, back leg sort of in the middle, using blankets, pillows, whatever you need underneath that left hip, sliding yourself into your version of pigeon.
And then just having a wee rest here. Lock. And in this pose, just going through your checklist of how you can now instantly calm your central nervous system when you need to. So starting with the little muscles around the eyes, soften them consciously. Put pressure through that third eye point. Soften your cheeks. Let your lower jaw become really heavy. Let your tongue become heavy in the mouth. Let your shoulders slide down. So just imagine them melting like the wax in the candle, just softening, melting. And then taking that softening and melting feeling and flowing down into the pelvis and just very gently rocking the pelvis. Little, almost like a tremor. Tiny, tiny bits of movement. Central nervous system loves just a gentle bit of rocking, a little bit of movement from side to side. Very soothing. And of course, the buzzy bee breath. So I'm going to invite you just to finish your practice with 3 long buzzy bee breaths out in this pigeon pose. Very good. And slowly bring yourself up, taking that right leg forward. So coming into your version of the twist here, or maybe holding onto the little toe edge. Shoulders dropping, pelvis slightly forward, crown of the head is lifted. And then maybe as you press the heel away, taking that hand up and behind you. So this is just getting into that IT band as well, getting into that slightly sciatic nervy stretch. Lifting, but relaxing. Any of the muscles that don't need to be active, let them be nice and relaxed. Very good. Okay, so just drop that ankle in front of the other ankle. Slide yourself forward. Feel the stretch into your hips here. Dropping the head. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. Yeah, and then flowing all the way up. Nice lateral stretch from side to side. Like that seaweed again in the current. Stretching slowly out. Spine just absolutely loves the opportunity to laterally stretch. Beautiful, ladies. And then taking both the head and the shoulders. Any residual unwinding that needs to happen tonight. Imagine that coiled rope is just nearly completely loosened. There we go. Very good. Very good. The direction. Oh, how loose can you make your jaw? Very good. And then last little vibrations. I just made that up then, but it feels quite nice. Okay, I'm going to get you to go into babbling brook pose. So just 5 minutes. Going over a little bit. 5 minutes. So you want something underneath your knees. You want a a rolled blanket to support the curve of your neck. And actually, you can either just come into Shavasana with this underneath your knees, or you take either a pillow or another rolled up blanket underneath where your bra strap is. So the chest is a bit open. Some of you love this and some of you don't love it. So if you don't love it, just don't have this bit here and just have the head supported and the knees supported. So it should be comfy, but a little bit stretchy around here, a little bit stretchy. This is for if you know you're a bit of a head poker, shoulders rolling forward. This is good for you. And then just wherever your hands feel comfortable. And once you're here, do 3 changing breaths where you really fill your lungs, you hold the top of the breath for a few beats, and then you just go, and you release the breath. And you imagine your body is dropping, melting. So powerful when we use the breath, when we use this pranayama to let that central nervous system bit by bit just calm, 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 slow, 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 and drop. Helps to reduce high blood pressure, regulate the whole system, decreasing stress, improving sleep quality. So while you're in this babbling brook pose, this lovely restorative pose, flow your awareness like a babbling brook from the crown of the head down through the body to your feet. This lovely sweeping of your mind's eye down the body. Just cleansing the body with your gentle awareness. Allowing a profound relaxation of the muscles of your face, a feeling of relaxation on the inside of your skull. Feeling that lovely sense of flowing relaxation pouring down the neck, through the chest and the upper back. Flowing, pouring, smoothing tension down through the torso and the arms, into the hands, into the fingertips, down through the belly, down through the pelvis. Feel your tummy relaxing in your hips, relaxing, pelvic floor, relaxing. Right around the sacrum and the hips, and then the thighs becoming even heavier. Knees might drop out just a tiny bit more as this flowing relaxation drops down through the calves, flowing through the heels, through the feet, through the toes and out. Letting go of every little bit of residual holding, every residual subtle tension, every tightness. Whole body softening, surrendering into delicious, conscious relaxation. And even in your internal stillness, feel the flow of energy constantly moving. Even in your external stillness. Feel that prana constantly healing, moving, restoring. That inner pilot light is becoming clearer. Stillness, knowingness, connectedness. Really be very aware of your right hand now. Feel your right hand, your right wrist, forearm and elbow, upper arm, shoulder, chest, left shoulder, left upper arm, left elbow, forearm, left hand, torso, and then left hip, left thigh, left knee, left calf, and left ankle, left foot, back up to pelvis, to the right side, right hip, right buttocks, and thigh, and knee, and calf, and ankle, and foot, and both feet, and both hands, and head, and whole body, this extraordinary body, this cloak that you're wearing through this lifetime. It is very good quality. Yes, there might be some wear and tear, maybe neglect, and even maybe some contempt might have made it lose a bit of its luster. But with TLC and some mending, this coat, this extraordinary body can be enjoyed for a very long time because it is very good quality. And when it's revered, when it's enjoyed, it will shine. And in this moment, just knowing that you are a unique, beautiful woman who deserves santosha, acceptance, who really does deserve joy and abundance and love and support and nurture, this feeling of being nurtured, just as you nurture other people. So allowing this moment just to honor yourself and honor your body. Honor where you are in your journey at this moment in time, knowing this is exactly where you need to be. And this opens us up to that grace state of acceptance, santosha. And this really is grace, the grace state. So from this state, just taking your hands and bringing them together at your heart center. Taking a moment with your hands at your heart center. That's it. Just connecting into your heart energy and then just rubbing the hands together so you can start to create a bit of heat between the palms of your hands. You might need to rub a little bit harder, a little bit faster, as if you're kindling a fire. Beautiful. And then taking the warmth of the palms of your hands, the energy that you're creating, that kinetic energy, and placing the hands over the eyes Feeling that lovely vibration, that sense of energy you've created, and just giving your eyes a little massage, opening the eyes. And taking a deep breath and giving yourself a stretch. And when you're ready, just slowly rolling over to one side if you're lying down. Very fluidly, like that seaweed. Just push the floor away and come and give yourself kind of a stretch as you sit upwards. Whoa, that's it. Very good. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a lovely, lovely, restful evening. The love and light in me bows to the love and the light in you. Namaste.